Good morning. This is Rich Sierra. This is episode number 16 of Business SOS podcast. Very excited that you're here with us this morning. So last week we finished our series on buying a business. I want to buy a business. What should I do? Top 10 tips you should consider to buy a business. So we finished that series with the last two episodes. And at some point, I'm going to bring a business broker to be a guest in the show, so that way he can give us his perspective about from both the buyer side and the seller side, and how a business broker can help you and navigate those waters, since it's a lot different than buying a home, buying a residential property, because really there's no all size fits all concept. It is very, there's some formalities, but there also can be very informal. And as I mentioned before, some people sometimes buy a business with one single piece of paper. You bought a business. It's a little different with a residential property because it usually involves a mortgage. So I want to sell my business. What should I do? So I'm going to kind of use the same type of theme that I used in the prior episode on buying a business. So the analogy I can give you, if you're thinking about selling your business, it's like similar to when you sell your home. You know, when you're going to sell your home and you're thinking about it, you basically go around your home and say, okay, a couple of walls have a couple of scratches. I want to go ahead and get those painted. Maybe there's a door that needs a little repair. You fix that door. You kind of begin to make the house sell ready, if that's a word. You want to basically, look at your landscaping, make sure it looks good. Maybe the house needs a little painting. You paint the house. Maybe something that, needed some repair. You go through that to make sure that when you basically list it with a realtor or you sell it yourself, that when the prospective buyer comes in, the house, you don't have any issues with anything that has to be done, and you can actually get the best price for your property. So selling a business is no different. To the extent that if you're thinking about selling the business before you list your business with a broker, you list it for sale, you begin to make inquiries like, I'm interested in selling a business. You want to go ahead and basically do your own due diligence and put yourself in the buyer's shoes and say, what information is the buyer going to ask of me to provide to be able to, give me the offer, give me the maximum dollar amount that I'm asking for my business. And often I get the question, well, what is my business worth? And that in itself is it's a whole episode or maybe two to discuss. And my answer to that is like, we don't do business valuations. So I don't want to go into the business to say, oh, your business is worth X. First of all, it's not something we do. But at the same time, pricing a business is very subjective, meaning that you as the seller, you have a vision of what your business is worth, how much you have spent your time and energy and efforts and money to develop that business, and you feel that it's ready to be sold. So usually an accountant can help you and give you some guidelines about, listen, it can sell between this price and this price. A business broker also can be very helpful and give you some estimates based on his or her experience, and telling you, based on my experience dealing with similar businesses, and based on your financials and your goodwill and everything you share with me, this is kind of the price that you probably can sell it at. So that's kind of a kind of a guideline. The second is, if you really want to know and you want to have some hard numbers, then the other option is to get a business valuation company to come in and do a forensic evaluation or a business valuation of your business and give you a report. And they do a different analysis. It costs some money, but it's money well spent, to give you a report about what they believe your business is worth and comparable to other similar businesses. So that's it for business valuation. And again, I think that's another guest that I have to bring in the show to give us more insight in that topic. So one of the things you want to do is look at your financial records. So let's talk about, I did a top 10 tips for buying a business. This will be top 10 things to sell a business. So this will be part one. So first thing you want to do is basically, are my financial records in order? They're going to be asking you right at the bat for your federal tax returns for the last 3 years. So if you are going to sell your business, you want to have those ready. You don't want to have, okay, you know what, I'm in an extension, the accountant has them. I can give you the last 20 and, 2020, 2021, but 2022 is an extension, it's not ready. So you want to have that ready, because what happens is this: as people ask you for information as you're as the seller, and you don't have that ready, it just brings red flags. They say, well, if you're selling your business, how come you don't have this ready? So right at the bat, before that, just have that prepared, have it ready, have your profit and loss statements prepared by your accountant ready as well. Before you give any information out, there should be at the very minimum a letter of intent that the person is going to, seriously look at your business, but also that there's going to be a confidentiality provision to the documents that you provide. And we do that as part of our practice. We want to have financials ready with your corporate tax returns. If your payroll tax returns for the state of Florida and also for the IRS. You also want to have, if you're in a retail business where you have to collect sales tax, you want to have your sales tax returns as well ready. Everything has to be done, and just have it part of your due diligence package to provide to a prospective buyer. Your corporate records, you want to have that available. A lot of them are available through SunBiz, but it's good if you have that ready. So if you have your articles of incorporation, articles of organization, any amendments to them, that's usually available through SunBiz. You can download them, have it in a PDF. They can look it up with the annual report to make sure that it's current. You want to make sure that your corporation or LLC is active in the state of Florida. Every year we have to file an annual report with the state, and it's $150 we got to pay. And for some reason, sometimes people miss the deadline and do not pay it, and they're still operating, and they forget to pay the $150, and the state gives you like 5 months to get it done. But it happens. But you want to make sure that when they look at your company, that it's not inactive or administratively dissolved because failure to pay annual report. It's an enforced error. And remember, the buyer doesn't know you. So how efficient you are at providing the documents is going to basically bring more confidence to the prospective buyer about how efficient you will be, how efficient you are running your business. So that first impression is very important. You want to have your lease agreement ready. If you don't want him to contact the landlord yet, that is fine. Unless they're serious and there's a deposit on board, and that's okay. But you want to have it ready. Have your lease agreements, amendments, have it all done, have it ready. Have an inventory of your personal property. Any equipment that will be included with this, with the purchase, you want to have that available, have that in a list, and whether the condition of that equipment is important. If you're a restaurant, there's equipment that you're going to be selling as part of the sale. People are going to ask you, how old is the equipment? What is the condition? If it's something in that, whether it's a stove, the refrigerator, whatever it is, maybe you want to have the technician come in, take a look at it, and then you maybe have some type of refurbishing, overhaul, or maintenance, and say, listen, I just got it refurbished last month. Here's the receipt. It's in a maintenance contract. Whatever it is, the objective, your goal as a seller is to really give confidence to the buyer that they're buying a solid business, and that the business, once they buy it, is going to generate revenue and they're going to get the return on investment and beyond. And the due diligence is, from the seller's perspective, is number one, to be transparent about your business. And no business is perfect, so don't feel bad about, okay, you know what, I'm paying myself out of the company, whatever. Okay, the point is this: the more transparent you are, and even if it's something that perhaps might not something that you might want to share because you feel embarrassed, or because the business might have a slowdown. Say, you know what, this happened this month. We're dealing with it. And people that are buying businesses know that. So don't feel afraid to tell bad news or tell something that did not go as planned, because pretty much in every business, something does not go as planned. It happens. Okay. But have the list of the inventory, the personal property. Number 5 will be your employment documents. And this one, I will have more of a summary. I will not give a prospective buyer unless you're beyond at a different phase in the selling process. In terms of list of employees, that's confidential information. But you can say, okay, I have, this is the top employees that I have. You can have initials. And then this is the positions of the employees. These are the salaries that are paid. Whether they're employment contracts with these employees, and whether or not you have independent contractors as well. You want to go ahead and have that listed and how much they're getting paid, and whether there's an independent contractor agreement with these with the independent contractors, and then explain why they're independent contractors versus employees, and that's important. So you'll have to have an explanation for that, because you're going to be asked as the seller, so why these two people are independent contractor, everybody's an employee. What are they doing that is different? Are they working in the office? Are they working in the restaurant? Are they working in the store? What is their story? Because so you want to find that out and have those questions answered right at the beginning. Have time, so much we'll go through all of them. If you're in a business that is a service business and you have contracts with, whether it's, let me talk about contract with suppliers, with vendors. You want to have those contracts ready, available, and be able to share that with the buyer. If it's something that maybe you have a long-term relationship with a vendor, you don't have a contract, you signed a long time ago, just ask the vendor for the contract. Listen, do you mind giving me a copy of the contract? I'm thinking about selling my business, and this is something they're going to ask me about. So just get a copy of it. And if you don't have a copy of the contract, just basically have one page in summary and say, with this vendor, we pay on a monthly basis X amount, and it's a month-to-month contract. Just have the buyer wants to basically know who you're doing business, who are the vendors that are supporting your business, and every business has vendors that are supported. We work with vendors that help us build that structure, that infrastructure, to be able to provide the services that we do, that we offer. So have a summary, so that way there's no surprise. Again, you as the seller, you want to give confidence to the buyer that they're buying a solid business, and how effective you are, how quick you are in providing the due diligence documents that are requested from you. It will bring a sense of calm and confidence to the buyer that they're buying a solid business, because if you're that efficient in providing and preparing the due diligence documents, number one, number two, and providing the due diligence documents, that is going to bring a sense of confidence and comfort to the buyer, that is say, you know what, I think they're okay. They're fine. And also a benefit for you as the seller is that it will shorten the due diligence process, because you're already provided, you have it ready. And number two, also it'll close faster. Many deals fall through, number one, and they get extended because of due diligence. Delay on providing the due diligence documents. You ask for tax returns, takes 5 days to get them. You ask for bank statements, have those ready as well. I don't think I mentioned it before, but have those bank statements available. You can download them through PDF, electronic. Have them available as well. At least the last 24 months, 36 months, just have it available. But the delay in the due diligence process is usually a reason why, in my experience, that deals do not go through. Because what it does is just gives that seller, that buyer, a little bit of, they get concerned, they get worried. I'm like, you know what, I'm not sure why is it taking so long to provide the documents. I'm not really sure I want to buy this business. Buyer's remorse, that they're taking a risk, but that's an enforced error when you as a seller did not provide documents in a timely fashion. So if you have it ready, you're ready to go. Trademarks, that's item number 7. Have your trademarks ready. If you register a trademark, just basically go to the SPTO, download the certificate of registration. If you're applying for a trademark and it's still in the process, it's still in the prosecution process, as we call it, still have not been finalized, have those documents available. If you file for a fictitious name registration, just download that as well. Your business licenses as well, get copies of those. Your business tax receipt for the county, for the city, get those. They can get them online, but you know what? You have it ready. I mean, you're the seller. You're trying to sell your business. And these are things you can do. All you have to do is gather documents. It's documents you already have, but for the most part, we don't have them in the same place because we're running our businesses and, we know where to find them if we need them. But in this case, if you're going to basically have somebody buy your business, let's make it easier on them, make that experience as pleasant as possible and as stress-free as possible, because it's stressful buying a business from your end. And all you got to do is gather documents you already have. Litigation, and this is very important. If by any chance you are in the midst of a litigation, you want to go ahead and share that information, or where the threatened litigation, you want to share that as well. I mentioned the social media accounts. You want to have a list of the social media accounts that's available. That's going to be transferred. Also, the email list. You're not going to provide that, but you can say I have an email list of 5,000 customers that have basically opted into my email list. You want to have basically give the number, not the list. List of current clients and active contracts for the last 24 months. You want to have a list. If it's a contract with your clients, you'd want to have the contracts available. You don't have to share them immediately, but you want to have a list of, say, these are the clients, the types of clients that I have. These are the contracts, and this is what is left in their contract, and they renew. 90% of our clients renew every year. So that will give the buyer an idea of how much revenue he or she can expect when they're going to buy that business. So that's important to know. So just to recap, top 10 items that you should have when you're going to sell your business: your financial records, number 1, corporate records, number 2, lease agreements, number 3, list of inventory of personal property, labor relation documents or employment documents, any agreements that you have with vendors, your trademark, intellectual property, anything proprietary. You can describe what it is. You don't have to share it with them until they buy the business because it's proprietary. Litigation, if you're suing somebody's suing you, you got to share the information. If somebody threatened to sue, or you threatened to someone, you want to share the information as well. Domain names, social media, email list, list of current clients and active contracts for the last 24 months. So I think I did episode 16 in one sitting, so we don't have to do it in two parts. As I mentioned also in my prior episode, if you're interested interested in the list that I use, what is called for due diligence checklist, for listening to me, if you send me an email at richsierra.com, I'm happy to send you a copy of the list that I use, which is about 8 pages and has like 50 or 60 items that I request when I'm presenting a buyer. But it's also good for sellers because you get yourself business sell ready. So if you want to reach me, you can reach me at richsierra.com. If you're interested in our legal services, we do Zoom and telephone consultations, 30 minutes, no cost. My website is floridasmallbusinesslegalcenter.com. At Facebook, we're at FSB Legal. If you're interested in watching this podcast via video, we're at youtube.com/@RichardSierra. We're on Twitter, now it's X, Rich_Sierra. We're on Instagram at FSB Legal. You want to reach me, you want to give me a call, give me a call. The number is 866-842-5202. Remember, Business SOS, 8 common legal mistakes business owners make and how to avoid them. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and you can ask for any local bookstores. If you like the podcast, please follow us and maybe give us a review and share it with your friends. You can find the podcast in Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you listen to your shows. Until next week, this is Rich Sierra. Remember that my goal is to help you succeed.